B says, I think home theater enthusiasts forgot how subtle Atmos sounds. If you heard Atmos in a Dolby Cinema, the above sounds are faintly used and used infrequently.
I'll agree with that. I think a lot of people want to hear Atmos when the reality is it shouldn't, just like with surrounds, they should never really call attention to themselves all the time.
Yep.
It should blend. When things are above you, they're above you. But I think a lot of people think every movie should just have everything going on above you. And it's how distracting would that be if you're trying to watch a dialogue scene and, oh, wait, there's flies in the restaurant. Oh, I can hear them above me, So, yeah, I think subtlety is definitely one of the key things that people don't expect from Atmos.
Do you like or do you prefer DTSX over Atmos tracks?
I mean,
have you heard a lot like the Harry Potter? Those were all DTSX. I think the Fast and Furious ones were DTSX.
Yeah. I honestly I don't really have a preference. I've never had a movie that had both to do an A/B comparison because
I don't think you can. Yeah. I don't think you can find them unless it's something that's on Apple TV or something where they would only stream Atmos. I think that's the only way you can get one movie with both of them.
But yeah, I don't honestly really have a preference. They both sound great. I will say if I'm using upmixing on my receiver, I'm typically doing DTSX or DTS Neural X because I just find that it adds a bit more of a discrete feeling, a discrete sound to the overhead speakers than the DSU. That's more of just kind of like a ambiance type thing or ambience type thing. So yeah.
Martin says Atmos should be accurate in my opinion. If there's sounds where those height speakers are on the movie, then should be present in an Atmos mix. Yeah, I buy that too. So just because and that's why I always thought space movies are always going to be great for Atmos, right? Because there's always just shit flying around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jupiter Ascending. Horrible movie. Fantastic Atmos.
I can't watch that movie. I've watched some of the demos and I'm just I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's cringy.
I mean, hey, it was only $6, so I bought it. I was just like,
it ain't worth my
Yeah. It's so weird though, right? Because we watch I feel like home theater enthusiasts typically will watch garbage if it sounds great. And I'm the same way.
At least for the demo part. Yeah.
For the demo part. Yeah. I'll need to watch I'm not a big fan of the Transformers movies. I'm not a big fan of Michael Bay.
Yeah.
But man, if his movies don't sound good, there's scenes in there that you're like, okay, this is going to get in the rotation of the demo. But yeah, and we all have movies that we just won't I will never watch The Greatest Showman ever. But there's people use that demo stuff.
Dude, I'm telling you,
I'm not a musical fan. I'm not a musical fan.
Yeah, I'm not. I think that's a great movie.
Aaron cried in that movie, dude.
Dude, I cry every single time. Every time.
If I hear that Never Enough song again, I'm just gonna start charging.
I can never enough hear Never Enough.
He's getting weepy right now.
One of the weirdest demos I got is when Sony flew me out over to New York to the unveiling of the new Master Series TVs. And they do that. They have the actuators behind the screen. So the audio comes out of the screen. So they used Showman, but I'm like, oh God, you guys are idiots. Because what do you see? You see that the mouth, because they're lip syncing, it doesn't match up to the audio.
Yeah.
And it's just why would you choose this to show off your brand new, it makes it sound like people are talking through the screen. Why would you do this? So I hate the movie just for that. That's just silly.
Listen,
somebody was just not thinking.
One of my favorite movie songs is from that movie. It's when him and Zac Efron are singing in the bar. I remember
that's a good one.
The song, but it's really good song.
Right here, right now. That one.
Yeah. I'll put the offer out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm probably going to put my headphones onto it later. That's the great thing about having the iPhone and all that stuff is I think of a song, I search for it, and I'm send to my watch, send it to my playlist. So when I go to the gym tomorrow, I'm going to be like, don't you want to get away? And then I'll be bench pressing, never enough. People will be like, man, that guy's really jamming. Look at him.
Look at him go.
Look at the
dude's
gains on that
squatting
guy.
900 pounds. Holy crap. What is he listening to?
So
No.
So something that I actually wanted, because Chana, I know, mixes his own music and stuff. Something it's kind of controversial. And I'm going to say something that I know people don't agree with
God.
typically.
Well, I'm out. See y'all later.
It's all about the controversy. Let's
right,
hear it.
right. No. It's not super controversial. So basically, Christopher Nolan movies get referenced a lot.
Yeah.
In my opinion, everything post The Dark Knight, awful audio mixes. Awful. Compressed, limited, they're just loud.
Oh yeah, loud.
They're
as
just
fuck.
loud. In
Loud
my
as fuck.
opinion,
Yeah.
I think Christopher Nolan has a hearing problem. Because they're just like when I watched Dunkirk in IMAX,
Conspiracy theory right there.
I was like, "What
There you
is
go.
going on?"
I mean,
Like, so
it,
is it impressive in certain parts? Sure, but like to me, the dynamic range is not there. Like there's not much dynamic. There are not much dynamics, especially
It's
like with Tenet.
It's like loud.
Tenet was just
and then
like
it's done. Loud.
Yep.
Done. Down. Loud. Done. Right.
I remember seeing The Dark Knight Rises in IMAX, and that opening scene where they're taking over the plane. Bane is there, and I was just like, I remember them shooting the windows out, and my ears just like, my ears were like pierced with this high pitch.
If I ever want to run a test on a new subwoofer or a new center channel, I always throw on Dunkirk, and I tell my wife like, "Hey, just try to ignore this because it's loud. It's just super loud."
And it's also all of his movies are very front heavy because he's not a big fan of surround sound in general. Yeah. So
and definitely not Atmos. But I don't know. Hey, you never know, man. You could be right. You could be like, what was the other one? That one real trippy one that he did, where it was just like super bass heavy.
Was it Interstellar?
Tenet's the one that caught all the crap.
No,
well,
not Interstellar.
It's still one that
Yeah, I think so.
Tenet. Yeah, it's all like the time.
Am I on mute here?
Yeah, the trippy one.
Again,
That's what I meant by trippy.
That was another one where I was just like, this is just loud.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I do like that zzz, you know, like it's just kind of like a bass that has a filter that's opening up, and you know, they do that really well in like season 2, 3, 4 of Ozark, where it's just it really just makes the scenes, like these tense scenes, just dude, the subwoofers are just going crazy, and it's just like whoa, but it's so subtle because it starts like low and then just gets like bigger and bigger and bigger. But yeah, man, I don't know. You could be right. Who knows?
Yeah, I was just curious because, like, you know, mixing audio and stuff, you know, it's easy to mess up like compression and limiting, right? So like
sometimes people do that like all the time. Now, if a compressor and limiter, a leveling compressor like LA2A for a microphone, like when microphones compression is set up perfectly, you can like talk like this. And then you can scream, and then it would the input would be the same, on both of them, right? Yeah. If you have it set up properly. A lot of people, you know, use YouTube videos and all that stuff to like learn how to do mixing and stuff like that. And like you said earlier about something else, there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
I learned to mix from Pure Mix online. It was an online school taught by Fab DuPont, who does a whole lot of stuff for like Shakira and like the list goes on and on. So I learned all my mixing stuff through them because they actually do. I use an Universal Audio Apollo, and so I wanted to learn how to use all these plugins, especially since I had to pay like $2,000-$3,000 for all the plugins. I wanted to learn how to use them. So that's what I learned with. And then I used to record in here. We used to actually have jam sessions in my studio here. My buddy's drum kit was over here in the corner where the mirror is. Yeah. And you know, I had bass, and then I actually have I still think I have the 6 headphones. So because my kid was next door sleeping, and we would be doing jam sessions till 2, 3 in the morning on a weekday. So yeah, I had a lot of experience with that, but you know, a lot of the times, and I don't know about you guys, I know Mike's philosophy. You know, if it isn't referenced, he's not watching it.
No, you don't know me at all.
I listen to things very quietly. Actually,
I listen 10 to 15 dB below.
Flag on the plate. Flag on the plate. Did Michael just Did Michael just do a Bobby Brown reference? My prerogative to my philosophy?
No, I don't think. Maybe by accident.
I think that's what he did. I think he just went. It's my philosophy. I think he just did.
You saw my playlist, my '90s playlist the other day.
Oh,
and he's on there.
This is why I love Michael, because he just busts out. I was like, hold up. Everything needs to stop right now. All right, but yes, he does listen at like plus 10 dB only.
Minus 10.
I'm just kidding.
I'm actually a minus 10 dB listener most of the time.
That's me.
Video games specific, like some video games are mixed, or like their levels are just really hot. So like I don't, but like God of War is like minus 12.
Yeah, I don't mind demos like at -5, but I don't think I ever really go to reference.
Yeah. There is something about that John Wick Chapter 3 shotgun scene at like -5.
Yeah,
it just really like punches. Yeah,
right in the chest, huh?
Yep.
Well, I listen to things pretty quietly because these puppies make the living, so especially like you'd be surprised when I'm DJing. Oh, dude, they got this new like $60,000 sound system, right, at Mammoth. And they got all of the subwoofers in, right? So dual 18 on each side. So 4 18s. On top of that, 2 12s, bandpass enclosures on these subwoofers. And then the tops have 15s in them. And then they had some other tops with 12s out onto the other side, right? And so like my booth monitor and my headphone monitor are very low. Yeah. Very, very low to preserve my hearing. And they have that. He does it so that the 18s are taking anything from 40 hertz and below, and then the 12s are taking anything from about 200 to 40. So I listen to things very, very quietly, unless I do really need to like pump up some speakers if I need to like review them or whatever, but it's not going to be for like long periods of time.
Right. And
also my wife hates it. So every time we watch a movie together, it's always, why is it so loud? Does it need to be this loud? Can you turn that down? Of course. So yeah, there's also that. But yeah. Let's see. We got some more questions. Yeah, let's go to this one. Oh, some people talking about Nolan. Nolan has said that his movies are mixed so loud are because the 1570 IMAX cameras he uses to film are extremely loud. So they compress the dynamic range and make it extra loud to compensate. Oh, interesting. So I mean, hey, there's a reason.
Lot of on location recording. I know that. So like a lot of he doesn't do a lot of ADR, like additional dialogue recording. Or what. Yeah. So I mean that kind of makes sense, but also why? You have so much. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Everything else is let's just make everything loud.
Right.
He's a different kind of guy though too. Yeah. He intentionally, when watching Tenet, a lot of times I struggled to understand what they were saying. I'm like, man, what is going on?
More so than most.
It was just weird. Yeah. But what I found out looking at articles, there were times he intentionally made it difficult for you to understand the dialogue because he wanted you to kind of be engrossed in the story aspect of it. I'm like,
so it's more of an artistic,
it's definitely weird. So he chose to do that,
right? So
he's
Martin
a different kind of guy.
Yeah.
Here, like in Interstellar, Michael Caine's character's dying words. Turns out you weren't supposed to hear them. Hey, I didn't know. I just thought they were near inaudible because Nolan.
Make sure to join us every Monday for our live stream at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/Daily HiFi.